Hey guys, so these are the last 13 years of Samsung Galaxy S series flagship and we have come a long way, that is for sure. Here you guys can see Samsung have done so many changes in terms of design, size, features and whatnot.
The Galaxy S is Samsung Mobile's most significant achievement in the US smartphone market.
We are excited to introduce the Galaxy S23, our best Galaxy S series ever.
So yeah, they all look great. Which one of these was your first S series flagship phone? Let me know in the comment section. So starting things with the Galaxy S1 versus S23 Ultra, and wow, 13 years of difference. Just cannot imagine what we're gonna see in the next 10 years. The S1 had a tiny 4-inch display, 5 megapixel camera. So that was the first S series phone made official in 2010. Then came the S2, which was one of the slimmest phone at that time but had a huge bottom bulge for I guess a speaker. The S2 had a dual-core Exynos chip and 8 megapixel of rear camera. Now comes the Galaxy S3 versus S23 Ultra, and this guys is 10 generations of difference. Single 8 megapixel camera versus 200 megapixel shooter. The S3 was the first phone to have zero shutter lag, so was a huge deal that time. And then there was HD screen part with quad-core CPU and 1 gig of RAM. The Galaxy S4 had a similar front and rear design but better specifications like a 5-inch display, quad-core silicon clocked at 1.9 GHz, and it had some cool wallpapers too. Then came the amazing Galaxy S5 with 1440p high resolution display, USB cover and a textured banded like finish on the back. The best part is it had a heart rate scanner and a 16 megapixel HDR camera. Yes, you heard it right, a heart rate scanner. That was surely an innovation. Then came the era of curved display devices. The Galaxy S6 Edge paired with Samsung's Exynos Silicon and 3 gigs of RAM. He still had a single camera, still had that front-facing fingerprint home button, but the curved edge finish was the best thing ever happened to Samsung. The S7 Edge was sorta similar to the S6 Edge but had a large screen display, dual pixel 12 megapixel camera for amazing night and daylight images, and yes, was an awesome device. And yes, that was the end of front home button design cause Samsung Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus had an all-screen infinity curved display with no button on the front. They placed the fingerprint at the worst location ever, and that was near the camera module. Here there was Type-C port and the headphone jack was still intact. The massive camera change came with the Galaxy S9 Plus, dual cameras, wide and zoom, that with variable aperture for better images. The S10 Plus had triple cameras, so from single in the S8 Plus, dual in the S9 Plus, we went to triple cameras in the S10 Plus, and it was the first flagship phone with a dual hole punch selfie shooter and one UI, so a wow design at that time, and last S series phone with the headphone jack. Samsung went super innovative with the Galaxy S20 Ultra, 4 cameras with 100x periscope zoom shooter, 108 megapixel high resolution rear and a single center hole punch selfie shooter, but the headphone jack was missing and Exynos was the worst of all. The S21 Ultra was a perfection over the S20 Ultra, but Exynos was killing it from inside, so yeah, it was an okayish device I would say. The S22 Ultra, however, was a massive change because it was a reflection of Galaxy Note series and even had an S Pen inside, best-in-class display, best-in-class cameras, and Samsung started killing Exynos variant cause in India it had Qualcomm Silicon from inside. This guys is the Samsung S23 Ultra, comes with 8 Gen 2 Silicon for all with the icing of 200 megapixel sensor. So from the S1 to the S23 Ultra, that was a hell of a ride, and I'm sure it is gonna get wilder and innovative in the next 10 years. This all guys, thanks so much for watching. Check these devices from the shopping cart below and I'll meet you guys in the next one. Peace out.